Are the species of Kong a highly civilized and technological oddity amongst Titans? Well, in this video we shall dive deep into the Hollow Earth and also Skull Island to reveal the hidden truth of this Titan species, the most human of them all, the most intelligent of them all. And if you haven't seen Godzilla vs. Kong, then spoilers ahead, and if you have seen it, then enjoy. Don't say I didn't warn you, but before you do, remember to click that subscribe button to be a part of the MindQ family, and also hit that notification bell for regular updates. Anyway, in this video we will look into their very nature and the fact that they built tools and even a kingdom for themselves. So let's get down with this sickness. Let's start with their description. The MonsterVerse incarnation of Kong is mostly based on the 1933 incarnation of him standing upright like a human, with his incredible long arms held at his sides, and he stood 104 feet in the first appearance. Kong's fur is light brown in color and covers the majority of his body except for his face, chest and hands, and also feet. Kong's skin is dark grey in color and he has large scars running across his chest. Kong has small rounded ears on the sides of his head and possesses many ape-like features on his face, such as a flat nose with rounded nostrils and large canine teeth in his mouth. That was the 1973 adolescent Kong. The adult Kong is 356 feet tall, has a beard on his chin, and although he walks upright, he travels faster on all fours like a gorilla. The species of Kong most probably started evolving millions of years after the other titans like Methuselah and Godzilla. The species, if taken from the standpoint of known evolutionary biology, would have probably taken off quite recently as compared to the others. As apes, especially gorillas, they started evolving around 10 million years ago. It would be fair to presume that one of these species somehow found their way into the Hollow Earth and then began to take in the unique radiation from the power source and then became the Titan species of present time, at least in the MonsterVerse. And as these super species began growing, they had to survive and fight existing threats, and along the way develop rivalries with the likes of Skrull crawlers, Godzillas, Warbats and Camazots. These Titan species of Kongs were probably newbies in the Hollow Earth, and in order to survive as they grew and evolved, they would have had to use the one thing that is very important and the main evolutionary advantage of them, their intellect. They would later form communities and which became powerful as they become bigger, and the community became a kingdom, and this became a threat to the one alpha species, Titanus Godzilla. Although it is not explained specifically, the two species waged war against each other for a long time, which ended in both of them dwindling in numbers as ape killed lizard and lizard killed ape. The Kongs probably had the numerical advantage and the crafting of weapons such as the present battle axe, made from a dorsal plate of a Godzilla and a mutobone handle. This rivalry would have ended in Godzilla's retreating to the oceans and Kongs to Skull Island, like a truce. The Kongs before their exile towards the surface would have been a very advanced species with the use of primal technology, very different from humans but evolving in parallel fashion. Although they were not using iPhones or SpaceX Dragon capsules, they were smart enough to harness the radioactive energy from the core from the limitless power source for constructing monuments, weapons and tools that would be used for their very survival and expansion. During Godzilla vs. Kong, as they went inside the Hollow Earth, they discovered Kong species' ancestral throne room that depicts an ancient war with Godzilla's kind. They also find a glowing axe made from the dorsal plates of another Godzilla. And as they find the power source, Kong discovers that it can also recharge the battle axe. Inside the throne room of the Kongs, there were various mega structures, and even before reaching the mountain place, which was their seat of power, there was another structure built by the Kongs to safely transition from one side of the Hollow Earth to another without having to deal much with the gravity inversion. So outside there was a huge hand that even dwarfed the size of Kong. I think this would have been made by them as a hand resembling an ape hand that can easily let other Kongs know where to cross over. Kong easily recognized it as such and jumped without hesitation to reach to the other side. This would mean that the Kongs were also gifted with craftsmanship and stone sculpturing, more like rock carving at their gigantic scale. They even had a door with a palm print to indicate where to push open, like a push and pull sign we see on 7-Elevens. Inside the throne room there were lots of megaliths that glow blue with the radiant energy given out from the power source. In the middle was a gigantic throne, and as such, there should have been a king that ruled over the other Kongs. On the sides there were gigantic pillars that held up the place and gave out an imperial aura about it. There was even a room for gathering, which means that they also had some sort of language that they would communicate with. This is evident with Kong understanding sign language, the one used by the Iwi natives of Skull Island, and that he could even respond in likeness. The throne room also had a very large statue of an ancient Kong, and this shows that they were indeed rock sculptors as well. Regarding the tools and the technology they utilized, it would be strangely alien as well as familiar to humans. They would use stone tools and maybe even bones from other titans to design and build the entire throne room. They also utilized the energy source to power their tools, much like us humans using electricity the same way. Theirs would have been more of a Stone Age civilization mixed with nuclear energy, and they were smart enough to use it like fire. With this, they would be kings of the Hollow Earth, in the same sense as humans discovering fire and using it to become the dominant species on the surface of the planet, even using fire against wild animals and predators. Just like that, the Kongs would also use the power source against other more powerful titans like Godzilla. But this also became their undoing as they started a war against the apex Godzilla species, which ended up in the remaining population of Kongs having to leave the Hollow Earth to live in Skull Island. In this island, however, lacking the power source and the food source, they eventually began to become smaller in size and weaker in power against the Skullcrawlers and other threats. This would have led to the Skullcrawlers in their huge numbers to slowly and steadily prey on the Kong species, and in the end leaving out the last sole survivor, our Kong. Of course, this ended in the events of Kong Skull Island with him killing the big one and eventually eradicating the smaller ones that came out for hunting during the events of King of the Monsters when Ghidorah sounded his alpha call. In Godzilla vs. Kong, however, the island became unstable and the storm began to envelop the entire landscape as well as the adjoining areas, the adjoining seas, killing off the fauna of the place and Kong being rescued and put in a containment facility. And during their later traveling into the Hollow Earth, Kong would eventually find out his ancestry and forgotten past and lead him to the conflict with Godzilla. But in the end, Kong would again return to the Hollow Earth and rule over his ancient home, while Monarch establishing an observation outpost to monitor the last Titanus Kong. That's all about Kong and his species, the first and the only technological Titan superspecies. So yes, again, subscribe if you haven't, and like for support, as well as smash that notification bell for regular updates on monsters, kaiju videos, creature features, Godzilla vs. Kong dissection videos, and much more right here on MindQ. Be safe and take care, fam.